Is by the dip back. Let's get into it here with our daily SPY / SPX analysis. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot. Thank you all for helping me get to 5,000 subscribers. Also a million views last week. Thanks for everybody who's been following me for the last couple of years and making it happen here. Also, if you're interested in swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading, come find me on Carnivore Trades.com. Anyways, let's get into it here today. So markets today, we talked a little bit about in the short video this morning, but kind of just like a consolidation day, not so much a reversal. Although we did have a decent amount of selling pressure up till about 1:30, actually exactly 1:30, right at that 4-hour close time frame. That's always a good time to look for bottoms around 1 to 1:30 in that 4-hour close range, and it wasn't really vicious selling. It was just kind of a steady offer with just kind of a leaking kind of price action. And then we did bottom here at 54.70. We had a couple of levels here on ES. You can see a couple of trend lines that I've been following here. Those are my day trading lines, but we actually got a nice trade off on NQ that we're still holding a runner on, and we'll be holding that into tomorrow. I do think we can trend to the upside tomorrow potentially. And this is the level I'm talking about here. So we just draw this down. You got that, kind of failed falling wedge there, right? That broke down. And then we just take these highs here, pivot, 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 and look at, we went right back into that, right that sweet spot there. And we're getting a nice bid here. I think we're up about 200 points now on NQ. Yeah, a little over 200 points now on NQ. So I'm looking to ride that into tomorrow, and I think we will still have some more upside here in this market. I would say, and I was going to say earlier, I would think there's more chance of continuation down tomorrow if we close near the lows. That would kind of indicate we're going to head towards 540, maybe even 535. But I think now, again, the path of least resistance here is up into this area, and it's still just kind of a pain trade, right? So, that there's just sell the rip got a little too easy, right? And we had a nice inside bar reversal, and we talked about this. This is the bull bear line. We close above that, especially you get a weekly close. It's just going to give by the dip a little bit more, of a bias here, at least in the near term. Now we're still looking for, there's a couple of levels. We got the 50 MA. I think that minimum gets hit. That would be like your worst case scenario before the next, dip or pullback leg or down leg. But then you got the gap fill here at 56.70, and it lines up almost perfectly with the previous all-time high, which has been a good pivot point here, a good point of control, obviously, over the last year. And then you've got this down sloping trend line here, and on top of that, you've got the 618 right at 56.50. So there's multiple targets here, right? There's several areas. And really what it comes down to is what's the $1,000,000 question everybody wants to know. What happens when we get here? I think the most likely scenario is it's not just going to go straight through that, right? We've already traveled 400 something points already in like 5 sessions. So let's say we get up there over the next 2-3 days. That's going to be 600 points, right? It's a long way. So I would assume dip, but the question is, do we collapse down to 4,600, 4,700? And again, I'm in the camp that the lows are in for the significant, I don't want to say, at least the foreseeable future. That's what's the word I'm looking for. Foreseeable future, meaning I'm kind of in more of the summer rally camp. There's a lot of people who are looking for a pullback here and then a collapse. Some people are looking for a pullback and then maybe a rally and then like a bigger collapse over the summer or a lower high in May. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think in a week you're going to hear sell in May and go away all over the internet, and I think that's going to, we'll get a dip, but I don't think it's going to result in much more than these gaps filling. That's my analysis right now. That can change. I can change my mind when we get down there. I can pivot. This doesn't have to. That's the thing, right? People think that you have to be. If I call for something, that means I'm married to that and I can never change. But it comes down to execution, right? Execution beats analysis every single day of the week. And, It's important to remember that. So, we can look for things, we can predict things, we can look for these things to happen, but if they don't happen or they happen a different way, you have to adjust on the fly, and that's really the nature of trading. But nonetheless, yeah, I still favor some upside here tomorrow. And right now, buy the dip is working, right? It's working. So continue with that. We're actually exceeding the targets. I mean, we're about to close in 9 minutes. I didn't think we'd get much past 550 here today. So we're really starting to push up here, and I think QQQ can try to get to 480. I don't see why that would not get hit at this point. Not just because the gap is there, but you got the 50 MA, you got the pivot high right there. And I think there's another fib here too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's a little higher. So I mean, that would be kind of that would be the more bullish case, like 487, and then the 490 would be the 200 moving average. So that would be like the more bull case here, if it really got going. But anyway, Russell 2000 held up pretty well today. It was actually the last index to go red, I think, when we were selling off. And again, we've made note of that over the last couple of weeks. Why is the Russell outperforming? Usually it means risk on. By the way, speaking of the Russell in the big picture sense, take a look at this chart here. This is either really bullish or really bearish, right? Small cap relative to SPY is at a like 30-year low. Could be contrarian, just something to consider. But anyway, yeah, that it was the only index screen 2 weeks ago, and had a nice pop last week. Although it didn't pop as much as tech did, but it held up today pretty nicely. Dow here up 0.5% too. That's reclaiming the 20 moving average. We got SMH here, which backed off early, but it came back up here. I know Nvidia had some news with Huawei, the Chinese chips there, and yeah, it's backing off, but it's nothing terrible really for it. I think you had AMD. Let me see, some of these others were hanging in there already. Yeah, these are okay right now. I think Qualcomm reports later this week too, and that's the thing too. I didn't think today would be that eventful because we've got Jolts tomorrow. This is a stacked week, guys. I forgot to even mention that. We got Jolts, we got PCE, we got all the jobs data, we got Apple, all the big boys reporting. So it makes sense today would be a little bit on the quieter side, but Jolts could be a catalyst for a move tomorrow in the morning. But anyways, yeah, SMH here down 0.5%, nothing terrible. IGV continues to outperform. Yeah, a weekly close above 96, or even like especially this pivot right here. That would really repair a lot of this chart here. Yeah, you close above 96 and above that 20 weekly moving average. That's a really big win for technology. Transports here, we got UPS after the bell. This stock is, I would give you dealer levels, but it doesn't matter because they're always wrong. This stock always is. I've never seen UPS perform priced properly for earnings. That said, at face value, this is a monster level here. I mean, if it wasn't for earnings, I would straight up just buy this right here. So maybe if it gives us a dip here, I might even go in on this. But I like that level a lot. We'll watch the transports here. A nice inside bar. Let's see if they can catch up. Anyway, interest rates today. You got bonds rallying on pretty much all ends of the curve. ZB bidding. TLT should at least test 90. And then if it gets through that, it can go higher. So far my little bond long is working out pretty well. And, it's hanging in there with my stupid TMF. XHB, that was pretty strong this morning as well. Yeah, it came right back. That's green now. VNQ is strong this morning too. Yep, that's holding up. Nice consolidation, starting to go sideways there, and potentially for another base there. XLF here, yeah, holding above 48. Nothing really new about that, or KRE, KBE, they're hanging in there. Fins are okay. XBD up again. We got oil, which to me is doing the bare minimum it needs to do to try and pump tomorrow. So this is ready to expand. It's just a matter of does it go down or up. I still think it got a chance to retest 66, but I would have liked it to see it come a little bit more off the lows by the end of the day. So I don't think it's going to go a ton lower. I think the most likely scenario here is a higher low if it does pull back, but yeah, we'll see. XLE though, some of these energy stocks, XLE having a good day. I took the liberty, and just full disclosure, I do own Exxon, as you guys know, many of you do. This looks really good dealer-wise going into Friday, into their earnings. It looks bullish. I'll just say that much. So again, full disclosure, I own Exxon, and I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. But XLE itself had a nice day today, up about 1%, trying to get a little outside move, reclaim some of these pivots here. So that's catching back up. XOP trying to get a, like a 3-week high here. By the way, I mean, risk reward here, dude, that's a big island, right? On XOP. And I mean, you trade this off the low, it's 15%, but I mean, you could use a small position. There's a lot of upside there. I don't own XOP, but just throwing that idea out there. That's a nice island. OIH, same thing. That just needs a catalyst. Nat gas up big off of the power outage. I hear a lot of it is back though. I heard Madrid has got some power back now, but yeah, look at that. And you know, funny, it happened on a new contract day. It started selling off, and then boom. So nat gas with a big pop there. It's holding the $3 handle. Dollar index was weak all day. Here's the minor, I would say, red flag right now. Dollar yen a little weak, but it doesn't negate every other, you know, positive signal here for more upside. And again, you know, this could be a negative signal that could be a leading indicator. We could go up for 3 more days, and then it could, you know, these things can trigger. But anyway, dollar was weak. Gold was strong. You prefer to see gold kind of back off a little bit more if you're bullish equities, but that didn't really happen all that much. Silver fractionally higher as well. Platinum got that nice pop we talked about, nice consolidation pattern. We talked about that test candle, the hammer candle on Friday. Yeah, got a nice bid. And then palladium trying, so couldn't follow through here, but we'll see. And copper here, a new contract there, still kind of has an inside bar there. And then lastly but not least, as always, Bitcoin. You know, this was strong all day. It was strong really all day. I mean, it did back off a little bit intraday, but this is, again, nice tight bull pattern here. It needs a little more time, but this is, so we talked about this last week. I said, look, a lot of sellers here, right? A lot of trap longs rather, and then the pivot kind of confirmed that that's where they were stuck. But notice how it's not doing that like it did last time, right? It's just consolidating, right? So Bitcoin is not doing the worst here, and if this can hold up a little bit longer, it can try and break. I don't know if it's ready to really advance yet. I don't know if it's done enough, you know, monthly consolidation. A weekly close above, I'll say though, a weekly close above here would be pretty damn bullish though. We got a whole week left, but because essentially that negates the breakdown, right? But the monthly, I think, still needs a little bit of time here. But yeah, it's holding up okay. And this led, you know, this started breaking out before the stock market did too. So maybe this is, you know, telling us something. But anyway, spiders here closing about 30 seconds. Yeah, we're above 550. So they're right through these dealer levels. So buy the dip's working right now. And I think they can try to trend this up tomorrow. Might need a catalyst, might need jolts or something. It could back off too, but my kind of guess is that we got to test higher prices here first before lower prices. So, but anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Come find me on CarnivoreTrades.com. I will see you guys all tomorrow.